welcome to The One Show with Matt Baker.
And Alex Jones. Now tonight, tomato or tomato?
Tomato.
Okay. Let's just call the whole thing off.
Yeah, well, we are off to Scotland now, where Sarah Mack has been to visit a man on a mission to bring back an industry that's been withered on the vine for decades.
Today we import roughly 3/4 of all the tomatoes we eat, but that wasn't always the case. 50 years ago, Scotland's Clyde Valley was lined with glasshouses, producing tomatoes renowned for their flavour and enough to feed the entire country.
Tomato growing on a commercial scale is carried on in the Clyde Valley near Lanark. And so in this part of the country, glass houses cover many acres.
Where once there were hundreds of Scots tomato growers, today only a handful remain. Cheaper imports meant that by the end of the 1970s, many of these glasshouses were lying empty, shells of an almost forgotten past. But now a young green-fingered entrepreneur is trying to give the Scottish tomato a makeover. Since December, David Craig has been living on site next to his greenhouse, carefully cultivating 14 varieties of tomatoes, including a heritage breed called Ailsa Craig, which hasn't been commercially grown for 30 years. And though the extremely cold winter has delayed the harvest, he is finally seeing the fruits of his efforts. David, these are your first punnets.
They are indeed.
How excited are you?
Extremely excited, and it's been a lot of hard work, but we're almost there.
David will be selling Clyde Valley tomatoes throughout Scotland and also hopes to expand into northern England. There's a long tradition of tomato growing in this part of the world, in the Clyde Valley. Do you feel like you're following on from that tradition?
Absolutely. We do have an element of a microclimate in the Clyde Valley. It's a little bit milder than other places in Scotland. We're learning lots of the skills that have been developed here for many, many years, and they were at risk of dying out as well. So there was a very strong chance that this industry would just disappear in a few years' time. So I think we're very proud to be following on from that long heritage and evolving it as well.
A key part of the effort is David's mentor, Jim Craig, whose family had grown fruit here since 1910 until Jim retired 2 years ago. So Jim, we're on the site of a former glass house.
Yes.
It's seen better days, hasn't it?
Yes, it's the way of most of the glass houses around here. Most have just died out.
In its heyday, how big was the industry?
Oh, it was massive around here. I mean, there would be in the immediate area 200 to 300 growers.
When did it all go wrong?
The greenhouses that were on had been built in the 30s, had reached the end of their working life, and as road transport became better, the market just got squeezed out. It was easier to bring things from Holland or Guernsey or even from England. And there's only 4 growers growing tomatoes left in central Scotland definitely, and most of Scotland.
You're being a mentor to David, so are you managing to just guide him?
Yes, just trying
gently nudge him?
Yes.
So, what do these tomatoes actually taste like? Neil Forbes is a former Scottish Chef of the Year, and he's come along to try them out.
They're just beautiful to look at, but to taste them as well, they're just wonderful. They really are so sweet.
And that is delicious. So it seems like the Scottish tomato industry isn't ready to sail into the sunset just yet.
Thanks very much, Sarah. Delicious tomatoes.